function to work. Okay, I'm just going to let everybody in.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. What is your name, please?
My name is Jose Castano.
Okay, Mr. Castano, I will be with you shortly. I'm Judge Person, and you're on a phone
Yes, ma'am.
call. Right, you're on a phone call, so you're not actually going to see, but there's a number of people to be seen this morning. But we will not forget you. I'll call your name soon. When I do that, you will actually be asked to unmute at that point. Okay.
Ask to unmute.
Now I'm going to mute you now, but when I call your name again,
Oh, okay.
when it's your turn, I will ask you to unmute. You'll get a prompt through your phone. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be with you soon. I'm Judge Person.
Yes, ma'am.
So I do want to welcome everybody to court this morning and let you know a few things before we get started. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods we have under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. If you plead guilty, you're saying I committed this offense. Not guilty is contesting the charge. No contest is not contesting, not admitting, just allowing the case to move forward. If you plead guilty or no contest, we're moving forward. If you've already entered a plea, we're working on a current sentence. If you've pleaded not guilty, that case is moving toward a pretrial. The pretrial is really for folks who are contesting their charge. Sometimes those cases can get resolved with a pretrial. We want to take that step today and see, and if it doesn't get resolved, that's perfectly fine. It's just voluntary to come in through this method and see if we can save you a trip. That's really the basic structure. Now, if you plead guilty or no contest, I'm moving forward with sentencing. If you've already pleaded, I'm looking at your sentence. I do want to tell you a couple of things just in terms of, I'm sorry, I'm having okay, there we go. I'm opening a pretrial room real quickly. It's a third breakout space where I don't hear on the pretrial, I don't hear the case details because it's contested and therefore may go to trial. And so it's very important that we keep that discussion between yourself and the prosecutor separate from the judge, because I might be deciding that case perhaps in the future. The prosecutor is the city attorney. The city attorney is really the equivalent of a district attorney at the city level. And the prosecutor that routinely appears in this court at this time is Ryan Matson. Mr. Matson, if you could unmute and let people know your name and who you are.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
Okay, and welcome to everyone. So the next thing I want to do is just quickly tell you the options for pleading. I mean, we've done that, but I want to tell you the effect of those pleas. So if you plead guilty or no contest, generally you're found guilty. It goes on your record. You pay the fines and costs. Payment is looked at in connection to the income information that you gave us if you're found guilty. If you are on the contested docket, the not guilty docket, we're looking at income information at a certain point when we're scheduling the case for trial and scheduling a bond for appearance at trial. So I'll use that information at a later time if we need to. So if you are here and I'm looking at sentencing, when I look at sentencing, there are still 4 options for keeping an item off your record. The general rule is it goes on your record, but there's 4 ways to keep it off. Those are compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. Compliance dismissals are things that can be brought up to date and dismissed under the law. If you have something like that, I will be looking and searching and seeing if you do. I'll automatically do that without your requesting it because the law says the judge shall do so. However, you may ask about it if you are wondering if it applies to you, just ask about it. But just know that I'm not waiting for your question. You might want me to explain it though, so you can ask, okay? The second thing is a moving violation can be dismissed through a deferred disposition. I'm sorry, a driving safety course option. If you're qualified to be in that program and the offense is a qualified offense and you want to take that step, it will save you money and keep the item off your record. Every ticket has court costs and a fine. The court costs are set by the Texas legislature. I can't control those. They need to get paid all at once in a driver safety course option. The fine is set by the judge. That's yours truly. And I just put that on hold. You pay the court costs, present license and insurance. You get a 90-day window and you can have up to 90 days, but you don't have to wait that long. You turn in the proper record, the proper course, and I dismiss the charge. It doesn't go on your record as a conviction, and that fine gets waived. It's less expensive to pay the court costs, the course, and the record and get the case dismissed if you qualify for that program and complete it properly, than to pay the whole ticket and have it go on your record. The reason being that we want people who have received a ticket, they move into a higher bracket of risk for death and dismemberment on the roadways. Texas is one of the #1 states for that problem. And if you are 25 and under, you're in a super group of death and dismemberment. So we want people to take that course. It does improve their driving. It moves them back to the same risk they had when they got up the morning that they got that ticket, before they got it. Okay. So it moves you out of the risk group and into a normal group. Okay. So it's incentivized at this time, and the legislature just met and they didn't take it away. So we still have that option. The third option is called a deferred disposition. Deferred means to delay. Disposition means to make final. I delay making your case final. I put a court order in place. It lists everything you need to do to gain a dismissal. If you do the things listed on that order, then you get a dismissal. You'll have a copy of it. But one thing about how that works, one, you have to request it at the time that you were offering your plea. Two, I have to grant it. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred is what that looks like. It's not very complicated, but probably you didn't wake up thinking about that this morning. Okay. Also, if you're on the pretrial docket and you and the prosecutor agree to a deferred, you can bring it to me for my signature. I still have to approve it, but it's a high likelihood that I would at that point if both parties are in agreement. So that's another way to get there. In a Class C court, you can ask the judge directly, even if you're not on the pretrial docket. On the pretrial docket, some things must be done that way. And also you and the prosecutor are going to know more about that case than I would. So y'all can negotiate and see if it's something you can agree to. The prosecutor is not obligated to agree to that or make that offer, nor are you. So it's just if both parties agree, okay? And then you'll bring it forward. Just remember the trick to that one is you must request it at the time your plea that allows me to sentence it is being offered. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred is what that generally would look like, the simplest version. The final option is through teen court. Teen court, I will push you to do if you appear to be qualified, enrolled in school, or heading toward the equivalent of a diploma or a GED, for the simple fact that it's our best option in terms of people not reoffending. Once they've completed teen court, they're less likely to reoffend. So that is a good option. And it looks a little like a deferred, but the burden or onus of completing that court order will be more on the student than the parent, because parents are there to support students or are people who, if they have committed an offense, need some intervention so that they don't get hurt or hurt others. Okay. So that's really the 101. Those are the 4 things I have directly from the bench on a guilty or no contest plea. Again, if you're pleading not guilty, it'll be a breakout session. It's a pretty short docket today. Normally we have a lot more people scheduled. I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, but I do want to just double check real quickly. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Matson, I'm gonna invite you to join that room, and your first person is Will Marie Moore. Will Marie Moore, can you unmute your audio so we know that your audio is working? Okay,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
How
Good
are you
morning.
today?
Yeah, good, Your Honor.
Good. I'm going to send you over to that meeting, and you'll come back afterwards and check in with the court before you go. But you and Mr. Matson, remember, he's not your attorney. He represents the other side. But everybody keep in mind, you have the right to meet with an attorney of your choice. If you need to do that, if you're asking to do that before your plea is entered, I can give you a reset and come back a different day to move forward with your case. Otherwise, we're moving forward without that counsel. Okay. Most people do represent themselves in a Class C court. We don't court appoint counsel for a reason that would take me half an hour to explain at least. So I'm not going to go into that, but that's the law. Ms. Moore, I'm sending you over to that breakout room. Mr. Matson, you as well. And I also am moving forward. I do want to check in and just kind of make sure I know who's here. I have a person labeled Carrie. And if you could unmute and just tell me your name, that would be helpful.
My name is Jason Miller.
Okay, Mr. Miller, thank you. I'm just going to change your name. It's temporary. And when you log out today, it'll go back to what it was. And then the next thing I had, now I identified the phone caller. Just want to check, is Andre Pitts here under any other name or with another person? Okay. So I'm going to start with Malachi Bosmore or Bazemore. You can tell me the best way to say it. If you'll unmute and tell me how you're doing today.
I'm doing great today.
Okay, very good. I'm Judge Person, and I have you at Lake Belton.
Yes, ma'am.
And you did ask for the driver safety course, but you checked teen court. I'll lean toward teen court because it's less expensive. Okay. And
Yes, ma'am.
and I think that's appropriate. With teen court, there's a $20 fee to be in the program. That's a cash fee. Can you pay that fee today?
I can pay that fee today.
Okay. And then the next thing is, this was an accident, I assume covered by insurance because you weren't cited for no insurance. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
Okay. And then was anybody hurt? Anyone else in your vehicle?
No, ma'am. It's just me.
Okay. So normally with this kind of situation, what I typically do is order a driver safety course option. You'll have to do the course. And then
Okay.
instead of getting your driving record, there's an essay that you do. It's not long, it's 3 pages. And we'll give you all the directions, exactly what it needs to look like and what it's about. It's mostly not research. It's mostly your thoughts and opinions about things, not a lot of research.
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, the course and then writing the essay kind of go together.
Okay.
Both of those would be due October 3rd. And we'll put that in writing, and you'll review your documents when you get here to pay that $20 fee. You'll review
Yes,
your
ma'am.
documents. You'll review your documents. So they'll have your due dates on there. And then also there'll be a flyer about how to find the proper course and a flyer about how to get the essay properly completed and turned in. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Are you motivated to get this case dismissed?
I am.
You could keep it off your record and save the $269 if you successfully complete teen court,
Yes, ma'am.
which is really just, these 2 items. What time can you be here today?
As soon as I'm done.
Okay, it's 9:20 right now. We'll look for you around 10.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, we'll see you at the counter. Now, when you come in, you just walk in. Any clerk can help you where you came before to do your paperwork. And
Yes, ma'am.
anyone can help you. It'll take about 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
When you're turning
Thank you
things
so
in,
much.
yes, of course. I want to get you back to a safe place because actually the ticket plus an accident plus being under 25, you're in the top group in Texas for being killed next. So
Yes,
that's why I like teen court, because it's not 90 days. I'm afraid if I wait 90 days, something bad could happen.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So I
Right.
just want to address it like right now. So teen court's really helpful that way too.
Okay.
When you're turning things in, you can bring them by and turn them in, or you can scan them and email them to us, like through our email. When you're here, you can find out, the email and everything. But if you email or fax something in or mail it, call and check and make sure we received it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. We'll see everything. We'll see you shortly. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually signing your order now, so it's ready.
Okay, good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Do you have any further questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll let you go. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and then I'm moving forward with Jeffrey Thacker. And Mr. Thacker, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing today?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Well, you sort of heard my spiel, but I'm going to walk you
Yes,
back
ma'am.
through it, okay? There is a failing to control speed charge, and the fines and costs are $264. This is
Okay.
alleged August 2nd, and I did receive your plea of no contest and a request for teen court. I see that you are also at Lake Belton. I don't think it was the same accident, but there is a $20 cash fee. Can you pay that fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
And then it's the same thing, really. I mean, I don't see a reason to deviate. There's a 3-page essay. We give you the guidelines.
Mhm.
Is that something you could do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your course and your essay would be due October 3rd. And the cash fee is today. What time can you come by the court?
As soon as possible.
Okay. We'll have everything at the window here in just a quick moment. Why don't we
All right.
wait for you to come in, before 10?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about what teen court is and what it looks like?
No, ma'am.
We have a lot of different processes. Yours is just going to be getting the course and the essay done and turned in on time. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to wait till the 3rd of October. You can always get it done and turn it in next week if you wanted to.
And I just turned it into the court
Yeah.
house.
The clerk. Yeah. That row of windows in the lobby is our clerk's office.
All right.
You don't have to see me again unless there's a problem. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. If you have further questions that you think of on your way in, ask a clerk. If they can't answer, they'll get with me and we'll figure it out with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Thacker, thank you. We'll see you soon at the window.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Meller, hi.
Hello.
Let's see. So this is failing to prevent an animal at large.
Yes.
And I did get a plea of no contest. And I did get your note about a reduction. We'll talk about that. This is alleged for May 14th. The fines and costs are $576. And then again, I did receive a no contest plea to the charge itself. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am. I had worked out a deal with the prosecutor. Originally, it was put on to my wife, Carrie Miller, and she saw you last month.
Yes, I remember.
And the prosecutor, I had told him that I would plead a no contest guilty plea, and we had talked about a fine reduction and everything else.
Yes, I understand. So you qualify for community service. So we wouldn't do a reduction. What I would do is lower the amount of community service that would be due to your disability. But I really need to ask you first, the way that this would work is that normally it would be 29 hours of community service. I would reduce that to 14. I would give you 60 days to complete it, which means that it would be October 31st due. But I'm wondering, I don't know the nature of your disability. Can you talk to me about that for just a brief moment? You don't have to go into all the details, but can you give me a brief idea?
To see you, the stronger ones. I have neuropathy pretty bad. I have no feeling in my feet. I see wound care every week to every other week. I just got some Diabetic ulcers healed up finally. One of them we were fighting for 2 years. I was in a cast. I had skin grafts, everything else with it. So occasionally I'm supposed to be in the boot, and if it looks like it's getting bad, they'll put me back into a cast. I have a heart condition. Well, it's not really a heart condition. It's actually, I have neuropathy in my carotid artery. So I suffer from neuro-osteostatic hypotension. So when I stand up or walk, sometimes my blood pressure will bottom out and it will cause me to black out and I will fall. I use a walker because I have no balance with the no feeling in my feet and legs.
Okay.
The gist of it.
Okay. So do you see a physician regularly?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I would order the community service. It would be due in 2 months, October 31st.
Okay.
If your doctor says that you cannot do the community service and puts that in writing, I can take that into consideration
Okay.
moving forward. Okay, I would need that on or before your due date, just like I would need hours. If you are able to do the community service and it just needs more time on your due date or before, turn in what you have and tell me how much more time you need. And I can adjust that way as well. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to work with you as long as you're showing up and making progress. But again, talk to your physician. And if your physician puts in writing that you cannot do it, then, I'm no doctor. I give way to that doctor. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So any questions? I need to get some paperwork to you. And before I ask if you have questions, I will tell you that what I would hand you, and you're in Temple. Can you come by this morning?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what we'll hand you is, it's like a packet and it gives you the rules, the places that are pre-approved, and a timesheet to keep track of your hours. And the pre-approved places are all like real simple places. Normally, you kind of pick what you want to do off that list. I don't micromanage people. And you're going to know your schedule better than me. So you can look and see what's available, figure out what might work. Also check in with your physician. You might just take that list in with you after having called to see what it entails and see what your physician thinks about it. And then I will just look to hear from you in whatever direction we're going by no later than October 31st in writing at the window. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll look for you around 10:30.
Whenever you want me there, man, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'm like 2 to 3 minutes away from you guys, so
This is great.
I'm
See
just
you
right
soon.
here on North 6. So
Do you have any questions for me right now?
no, I do not.
Okay. All right, Mr. Miller, thank you for your time today. We'll see you shortly.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we're just waiting. Mr. Castano, we'll be with you shortly. You're waiting for the prosecutor before you talk to me. So that'll happen soon. Okay. You don't need to reply. I'm just going to assume you're good. But we will be with you shortly. Yes. Okay. What the terms? Here's Pitts. And I just made some notes there. There's no pleas on anything new with him. It's just a no-show, but I read what he said and responded if he cares to call in. Okay. Okay, yeah. Say that again? Yeah, there's nothing to do. And he says he's gonna pay it. And, I mean, I appreciate him reaching out, but there wasn't anything he wanted to talk to me about. Okay, we're back with Will Marie Moore's case. There's actually two charges, but I don't have a plea on one of them. If y'all could both unmute and let's start with Mr. Mattson. Let me know where we are. Sorry, I accidentally remuted you.
Your Honor, we're going to continue to final pretrial.
Okay, ma'am, I have no problem with that at all, of course, but I think final pretrial, when's our final pretrial date on that one?
It will be live court on September 21st.
Okay. 9/21 at 9 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna put both cases onto that final pretrial docket. I'm gonna assume a not guilty plea since it looks like it's a mirrored charge. Mr. Mattson, were you aware of that second charge? I don't know if we had sent that over to you yet or not.
I had it noted that it was pending a setting date, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm just gonna lump those together and move them forward so that we can address both issues on that date. That final pretrial date is September 21st at 9 o'clock here in the courtroom. Okay, all right. We
Hey,
will-
can I ask,
Yes,
what was the second charge?
it is a parking on an unimproved surface. August 17th is the date.
He just wrote it twice.
Oh, he wrote it twice.
He wrote July 20th and then he wrote August 17th, about a month later.
Okay, yeah. All right.
And that was one that, you know, we could take a longer process and you could get a bunch of paperwork. But I think it's easier to put it together, but we will.
No, that's fine. We just didn't understand. As far as we knew, it was just one charge.
Yes, I
But-
know I'm surprising you. So I think what's appropriate is that we will email a copy of that to you. Can we email that new one over to them? Along with that setting form, I guess. So we'll send that over to you to the email that we used to set this case up today on Zoom. We'll use that email if that still works.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Judge, a quick point of clarity. You said that final pretrial will be on September 21st.
Yes.
I
Oh,
believe I told Melissa I'm going to be out that day.
we're just realizing that we have, let me move that.
Let's see, okay.
It'll be the 28th. No, that's a warrant roundup date.
You're right.
Yeah, it's not,
October 5th.
it'll be October 5th.
Need next month.
October.
October 5th at 9. Okay.
Okay.
Is everybody on the same sheet of music, as they say?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I'm sorry for my error. Mr. Mattson had informed the court and I missed it this morning. He told me a long time ago that he would not be here on the 21st, and the 28th, the court has a different issue happening that day, so it'll be the week after that, which is October 5th.
That's
Okay,
no problem.
all right, we'll see everybody then.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jose Castano, can you unmute and let us know your audio is working? There we go. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor, I can.
Okay, so what happens next is I actually move you into a breakout space. I will not be able to hear you, but the prosecutor, who's named Mr. Mattson, he will be able to hear you. He represents the other party, the police department in this case, on a stop sign charge that you've been charged with, where you've pleaded not guilty. And this court has a mandatory pretrial for that. And so that's what we're doing right now. So I will move you over and you'll probably hear a click and then you'll be able to talk to that prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, here we go. There he went.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Yeah, I had that down about his calendar too, but I just missed it.
Wait, I'm gonna have to add a line on here,
Mhm.
live pre-trial.
Yes. You could just put, where it says live court, just put, there, and that way, if they match, leave it, just leave it there. I know it's the same. If there's a different one, it can come over here. That way I know, oh, hey. If not. So, what's that?
The continuance in this.
Oh, yeah. What's our new date? It's a bench docket.
10-4.
And 4. We should call them. Just because of the late notice. So I do want to tell you that I took, and we are live, by the way, but I saying that just as well for my benefit. But I did take my robe over to the other chair. And it's fine. Yeah. But they're not going to keep getting that chair in stock. They no longer have it on their website. So
Okay.
yeah, it would be, did we ever get pricing from the other folks?
I think they dragged it beat because
I just think
they
they're
know
not.
that we can't. That's what's going on.
Yeah, and I just find that they have ultimately not been, it's just not a very professional situation. And never has been. And normally it's not a problem, but it is on something like this. But that sliding chair, that really freaked me out.
That freaked me out.
Okay, here we are. This is a single charge of running a stop sign, and we're back in the regular court session, Mr. Castano. I'm going to ask the prosecutor.
Okay.
Hi, I'm going to ask the prosecutor to just weigh in and tell me where we seem to be.
Your Honor, we are going to continue to final pretrial, but I am going to request that the setting be after October 15th. That way, Mr. Castano does not have to miss any of the mandatory training for his new job.
I completely agree. Let's go with October 26th.
October 20th.
And that's at 9
That'll
o'clock.
be perfect.
That'll be at
At
9
9.
a.m. here at the court building.
0900. Is that where I went to get this paperwork,
Yes,
Your Honor?
yes, sir, it is. We are at 401 North 3rd Street in Temple.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
We'll see you then. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You are free to hang up.